Hello, Michael here with the Administers. Hey, let's have a quick little ramble session. Let's talk about symbology. It's what's got everybody messed up. It's a lost language, but it affects the subconscious mind. How bizarre, how bizarre. Let's talk about the Baphomet. Baphomet. The goat god. The one that's the Christians just really can't handle. A lot of people can't handle it. Let's talk about Baphomet. The Baphomet is Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay? Those wings on his back are the wings of Libra. The caduceus between his legs represents Gemini. 2 fingers. Index finger. That's Jupiter. That's expansion. Middle finger. Saturn. The leader of the pack. Yeah, the one ring to rule them all. So Baphomet is talking about looking into the future, age of Aquarius. It's a little candle on his head, a little flame of mind. A solitary candle. Bowie even sings of it. Yeah. Is your solitary candle flamed or is it flamed out? You on flame? Are you on fire? Or are you flamed out? But that's the Baphomet, nothing to fear. Confusion. See how the controls, they love to keep you in that space between the reptilian complex and the limbic system. The red area there, you know, that's a real red area. Red emotions, Mars, war. Fight or flight. But you're living in hell, if that's where you are, if that's where you're staying mentally. You're in hell. You're in your own little personal prison, locked up in the locus coeruleus. The endocrine system. It's what we have to pay attention to. The 7 churches, the 7 seals are the 7 chakras. Okay, you got to bust through those energy centers. Everything's a frequency. Freak. Y'all are freaks. Tesla said it. If you want to understand the universe, understand frequency and vibration. The sine wave signature of love and compassion, about that close to the one of bliss. So, love and compassion on the path to bliss. Who's love? Jesus is love. Who's compassion? Mary's compassion. This is the stuff I love. Connecting the dots. Showing you why Jesus is a freak. If you will attain the same frequency of as Jesus and Mary, you will be that close to bliss. You'll be there. You'll get there. Go into the temple. Temple is the third ventricle. Jesus was in the temple at 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 is your third ventricle. Little single eye action here. It's gonna, we're gonna roll away some stones and we're gonna aggravate some people, and they're not gonna like what they hear because they've been told so long it's wrong. But the solid rock on which to stand is your pineal gland. Yeah. It's like sand until you utilize it, and then it gets hard as a rock. You have to stimulate it. It's piezoelectric stimulation. Kind of got to squeeze the trigger. Yeah. The philosopher's stone is the pineal gland. The keystone is the pineal gland. The capstone is the pineal gland. It is the gland. It's the stone that was rejected for the cornerstone. See, they put you in the corner and blocked you in there. Boxed you up. Legion, you know who Legion is. Legion has you kneeling at a pine pew instead of annealing your pineal. Let me repeat it. You're kneeling at a pine pew when you're supposed to be annealing the pineal. And that's temperament. You got to temper. Got to get it tempered. Who's got a temper? Yeah. Anneal the pineal. See, this is what they've been hiding for 2,000 years. It's why they control you. It's why I can see and others can't. You're blinded. Let's aggravate you again. Hitler and his Third Reich. He could see what no one else see. So there becomes a time when you cannot not see. You see it all. You cannot not see. It's a good place to be, especially sitting here in Gog and Magog. You go to the synagogue. Sin is the moon. So you go to your synagogue for your moon worship. We're in Gog and Magog. Ideologies, belief systems, schools of thought. Now, what are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe? And when are you going to do it? Third ventricle is the temple. It's the fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went there. Someone was waiting for them. 4 in there, 4 in the fiery furnace. Reminds me of Mr. Peabody and Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle is about popping your pineal. Single eye stuff. Anytime you see that single eye stuff, it's about popping your pineal. They've popped it. They understand it. They've got the single eye vision. I won't say they popped their pineal, but they do have the third eye sight, the single eye sight. Right? Popping that pineal is the enlightenment. It is transformation, and it is the rapture. It happens in the air, in there. Yeah, don't expect any future rapture from here to there, taken away. You're going to get raptured here and now because it's different for everyone. You got to enter the temple for it to ever take place. And nobody's really entered in the temple. They're going to church, but failed to enter the temple. You got to do what Jesus said, and don't let the preacher be a hindrance to what Jesus said. That's what's happened here. The pastor, supposed to be talking about stars. Thalem, the lamb. Bethlehem, in Thalem, with Thalem, the lamb. Real quick here. Kirk from Star Trek. Kirk means church. In control of the Enterprise. Well, the Enterprise is your mind. Ahura, the communications officer. Ahura Mazda was the god of Zarathustra. Zarathustra sent the Magi to look for Bethlehem. So Kirk had Ahura, his direct connected to God. Well, beam me up, Scotty, to the crown chakra. Get the shock of Ra. Shock of Ra. Raiment. That's the ultimate rapper. And who's rapping now? It's a frequency. Mary Magdalene. Mag means move in Sanskrit. Mary moves that line, doesn't she? Mary moves the line. She's waving sign all the time from here to eternity. Mary. Mary, Mary. See, I can go into all these songs. They're all about the big wheel that keeps on turning. The Mazzaroth, the Zodiac, the 88, 44 above, 44 below. Get your 44. Get your Magnum, PI. Get your private eye. Fred Flintstone gets put out of his house at night by a cat. Now, that cat is the Catholic Church. Put your flame out, put you out of your own cave, put you out of your own house. Turn your light out. Put that basket over your light, whatever it is. How does that go? This little light of mine. Once you see it, you cannot not see. Some people don't want to see it. Some people never will. Some people won't try. Hey, the Alpha to Omega, the Aleph to the Tav. Now we communicate at Theta. Children are in Theta till they're about 7 years old. That's why they have imaginary friends. Yeah, it's God. They talk. I had this conversation. My first one was at 5. He said, Mike, you're going to be a preacher. I said, nope, I'm not. Snakes don't talk. I've eaten a lot of apples. My mommy feeds them to me all the time. And I've gotten no knowledge from that. And that was our exact conversation. He didn't bug me again until I was 14 at church camp. Mike, you're going to be a preacher. Oh, no, no, no. I'm just here to get out of the house, have fun. It's a really cool swimming hole here. It's got a great rope swing. Yeah. 35. Mike. Ooh, maybe. 45. Mike. Well, okay. That was 20 years ago. I guess now I'm a bit of a preacher man. I know where the rawhide. You got to squint like Clint if you're going to find raw, rawhide. Get a long little doggy. Oh, it can get fun. Because all the shows are about the Magnificent Seven. All of them. I don't watch TV and, Games of Thrones and all these things. I've heard about them. I know that much about them. But I guarantee you, it's about the sun, the moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury. It's about the heavens. There's a character for each one of those. You got your leader. Yes, Jed Clampett. Jed was a Jedi. Granny was Yoda. And let's talk about Jethro Bodine. see, Jupiter in retrograde maybe. But Bodine, let's talk about the Bodine. The Bodine is an enlightened person that has no ego, no hate, and no greed. That's Jethro. Jethro. Get you anywhere in that old jalopy. You know, he had the old equipment, kind of like Luke. Had the old equipment. They had the cement pond. Rabbits don't run wild in cement ponds. Ellie Mae had it coming and going. Flowers of spring and all that, doe-eyed. Charm a snake, but you couldn't charm her. Jane Hathaway kept the appointment book close to her heart. And we know Greedy Drysdale wanted your money in his pocket. Greed, greed, greed. So, now in the oil. You know, you gotta save your oil. Well, the oil is the Christos. And the Christos is your cerebral spinal fluid. It's gotta float around that endocrine system. Take the vagus nerve, get around. The Ida and the Pingala. But we rise up to, got to get through all these energy centers to the crown chakra. Got to get that Christos flowing through. Because see, there's an olive in your medulla oblongata, and it will anoint the cerebral spinal fluid as it passes by on its way to the pineal and the pituitary. The milk and the honey, the DMT, the genie in the bottle, the Cracker Jacks, you know. Got a prize inside. It's right there in the pineal. Got to crack that nut. They covered your nut. Ooh, you're a slave because you got to cover your nut. Yes, I got my bills paid. Covered my nut. Yeah. Who cares? Open this one. Connect with the Creator. Take that voyage, that spiritual voyage, hemisphere to hemisphere. Let's explain Popeye and Odin, why they're the same guy, why Hugin is your huge colorful genie inside, and that is connection to the cosmic consciousness. Hugin, your genie. Munin, your little me, mini me, little guy. I'm getting tired of holding that with that arm. Let's trade here. Pluto, the bully. Let's talk about that. Each hemisphere has a Taurus field. Taurus, the bull. Now, you have to steer that Taurus in the left hemisphere to be led by the Taurus field in the right hemisphere. That's led to gold. Gold is ore is light. In Hebrew, or, O-H-R, is light. That's why the H is a tricky letter. That's why they throw it around, take it here, put it there, take it out. Shalom, Salem, it's the same word without the H. Said it 100 times. They've taught us the letters, but not the spells. In the ancient times, a character, one letter meant a word. It didn't just mean one character. That's why you got to break everything down to the root. Torus fields, quantum fields, energy fields. Not baseball fields or football fields or any of these distractions that keep you from entering the temple. So you won't need that stuff anyway. So every bit of it was invented. Golf. Whack a ball around. Yeah, we whacking a ball around. Hey, it is a nice walk, and it is fun, it's exercise and all that, but understand what it is. It's a distraction to keep you from entering the temple. Enter the temple first and everything will be handed to you, you know. But nobody's entering that temple, you know, theta. We're back to the theta waves. You got to get into the theta mental state. So I got carried away. Well, that's how you get carried into transformation. You get into that frequency, you get charged up. It will charge you up. No credit required. Theta, you get into the theta mental state, communicate with the Creator. He will carry you on to delta, gamma. Oh, Deep Space Nine. 9 is consciousness, man's consciousness. You know, 6 is man, 9 is his consciousness. COVID-19. Yeah. The one, and the consciousness. Ovid. Well, see Ovid. Ovid was a philosopher, 43 BC, that wrote the books of Metamorphosis and Transformation, talking about a transformed mind here. And that's the only Ovid you really need to see and care about. Because the certification of vaccination ID, the COVID-19 they want you to have, will probably interfere with your endocrine system. That's probably what it's all about. You know, we have this 5G rollout. My hypothesis is now that nanotechnology can penetrate the blood-brain barrier, they can attach some heavy metals to their nanoparticles, get that floating around in our head, and create some unbearable headaches. I don't know what all they might be able to do, but that's the simplest thing I can think of. It comes to my mind. You know, I put a lot of dots together in a lot of different ways to get here, to get to this point. You know, the nowhere man, he goes there. Or in a rock, he didn't turn over. You know, you got to. You've got to reverse engineer everything because we're in backwards world here. You know, so you got to reverse everything, mirror it, look at it. You got to triangulate. You got to look at it all from all the angles. You know, the angles of light. But anyway, we're all quantum mechanics. We're all quantum physicians. We heal ourselves. Stay in that love, gratitude, and compassion realm. You don't have cortisol floating around your system. Creating damage everywhere it goes. Instead, you will have oxytocin, the healing drug, and you can't have both at the same time. You can only be in one situation or the other. So if you're thinking fear, you're not going to heal anything, ever. If you're thinking love, compassion, and gratitude, things will heal up. It's law of physics. It's the law. Hey, that incorruptible word of God, been corrupted 100 times, cooked. You can't cook the truth out of it, but they try. No, the incorruptible word of God is the atomic numbers, the periodic table, the alchemical table, and those stars in the heaven, the Mazzaroth. That's incorruptible. And they try to corrupt that with their this astrology and that astrology, because there is pure alchemical astrology. The age of Aquarius is the endless age because it flows right into the age of Capricorn without the turmoil that we're experiencing now with Pisces to Aquarius. That's why it's the endless age that we've all heard of. Now understand this transition from Pisces to Aquarius, it's going to take about 250 years. We're just on the precipice. We're on the, initial stages, the front end. We're doing the front end work here. Anyway, and everyone is created in God's image. That image is energy. Energy which cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed or returned to sender, source. Yes, that's reincarnation. Removed from your scriptures intentionally in about 325 AD. But energy, we're all energy. Each one of your cells manufactures about 1.4 volts. About 70 trillion volts a person. 7 is the number of divinity, remember. That'll power a city. But that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. You transform it. And, it's energy. It has a positive charge and a negative charge. It's nice to be grounded. Oh, well, it's how this works. See the sun up there somewhere? I think he's back there. Maybe that's enough of the Ram Bull session today, The ram is the higher mind, the bull is the lower mind, and the beast that must be sacrificed. Quit hurting little animals. It's not about that. And I guess if you want to go real quick, we'll talk about the census. We're in a census year. It was a census year when the Christ child, Joseph and Mary, had to go back to the city because of the census. King David was told not to count the people. He disobeyed God. Then he was given 3 choices because of his decision: war, famine, or plague, pestilence. King David chose plague and then regretted it. It haunted him. Because the plague, that takes the women and the children. A war can just take the men. They can have a selective service. And see what we're in the middle of. We also have a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction and an eclipse coming up in December. Signs and wonders in the heavens. The Saturn-Jupiter conjunction has a function. And don't let anybody mess with you about Nibiru, because if Jupiter lines up in front of Saturn, Saturn's rings appear as wings on Jupiter. So, more confusion out there that we're trying to help eliminate, but it's everywhere. The controls control with symbolism, confusion, keeping you in that bouncing around, bing, 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 in a small portion of your brain, never getting to the neocortex for the real rational thought, critical thinking. See, this is another way they get that. Avoid critical thinking. This video is getting kind of long. We got to keep it interesting, you know. This isn't a big production. We do big productions. We can do big productions, but hey, we keep it simple for this, and it can happen a lot quicker. Hey, y'all be in the bliss.